We welcome you to the Monday, November 23rd Board of Education meeting for the East China School District. We will start with a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on our agenda is the items of interest, recognition, and inquiry. Board of Education members?
I have a couple of things.
Yes, Mrs. Frank.
Okay. I have a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has a safe and blessed holiday. I want to tell everybody about Maritime Christmas, which is going to be December the 5th in Marine City from 10 to 8 p.m. I'm going to read off of the flyer here. It's fun for kids and adults, shopping, giveaways, Santa, wagon rides, discounts, crafts, music, and more. But the point of interest being for the East China School District is that this event wouldn't have been possible without the support of Mrs. Lori Gardner and her Marine City High School business students. So they played a huge role in launching this event, and I think it's going to be a huge success. So I want to shout out to her and her kids and all Marine City kids, and also make sure everybody marks their calendars for that day. The other thing that the Marine City High School business education students are doing is they have entered into a Greenlight Entrepreneurship contest that's actually hosted by Techport, which I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, but it's being held at SC4. The contest is where students come up with an idea for a product to invent, and Marine City High School has two sophomores, Hallie Uplegger and Terry Goulet, who placed in the competition along with the third finalist, which is an SC4 student. And on Monday, December 14th, they will be pitching their product ideas in front of, I guess, the judges. So we want to wish them all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Mrs. Bebuk.
All right. Marine City High School, December 3rd through the 5th at the Performing Arts will be performing Peter Pan. At the PAC on December 9th, the Marine City High School Band and Choir at 7 o'clock, December 9th. December 10th, St. Clair High School Band will be giving their winter concert. And then on December 11th, the St. Clair Middle School and the St. Clair High School Choir will have a joint concert at the PAC at 7. Also, the National Honor Society of St. Clair High School, I know they've done this for many, many years, the holiday babysitting on Saturday, December 12th from 10 to 4 for any parents that would like to do some Christmas shopping but need a babysitter. And I believe there's more details on it on the website. Finally, Jordan Curtis, a fourth grader at Palms Elementary, was the grand champion spelling bee winner that the KFC sponsored. So there's a lot of good things going on with our students, and I want to thank our administrators for everything that they do to make these things possible.
I have a follow-up. Okay, sorry, I forgot one thing. In conjunction with the Maritime Christmas, the high school students also sponsored an art contest with elementary school students from Bell River, Pine, and Palms, and Immaculate Conception. So those elementary students, their artwork is going to be displayed throughout the town, and I guess the winners in some of those categories will also be announced that weekend. The other thing is we're doing a push for the Teens in Need. That is a local charity that takes care of our homeless and displaced students throughout the district, all of St. Clair High Middle, Marine City High Middle, and Riverview students who are either homeless or displaced. We're always looking for monetary donations in order to provide these kids with a Christmas And then we also keep them stocked up with toiletries and other needed items throughout the school year so that they can continue with their education. So we appreciate your support with that.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Dr. Skolka.
Yes, Oakland University has hosted a couple of music events that I'd like to bring folks' attention to. They hosted the Honors Band, in which St. Clair High School students Christina DeGregory, Lindsay Rourke, and Sarah Smith participated in. And they also hosted the Chamber Choir Festival, in which the Marine City High School Chorale earned first division ratings. So we're proud of those individuals and ensembles who did so well. To piggyback on what Trustee Beebuck said, we do post all of the holiday and winter concerts on the district website. Please refer there if you want to get some of those dates and times. And I would also like to give congratulations to the St. Clair women's swim team, who was a state runners-up in Division III, and their coach, Ken Siggett, who was Division III Coach of the Year. So outstanding, and congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you. Next item is our special recognition, Youth Readiness Council. Faith May.
Hi, I'm Faith May, and I'm a junior at Marine City High School, and I'm the vice chairperson of this council. This is just kind of an intro to our council and what we're all about. This council is a group of 11 teenagers. We range from 8th to 12th grade. We have students from Yale, a lot of from Port Huron Northern. I'm from Marine City. We've got Algonac, and we're kind of all over from St. Clair. The council requirements to get into the council, we had to write an essay. We had to have 2 reference letters. One was in school and out of school. You can use a teacher, any representative from your school, assistant principal. You can use a coach from outside of school, anything you want. And you also have to attend an interview to finalize your decision to get into the council. And we serve a 1-year term, so we'll go until June of 2016 to move the new members into the council. And we also have monthly meetings on every Wednesday. Our current plans, we have chosen a group of preschoolers to 7th graders because we feel as if this age group will be the most receptive to our messages. Because I know when I was really little, I looked up to the high schoolers. They were my world. I wanted to be them. I wanted to learn from them. Like, I understand that a lot of times teenagers listening to adults isn't the best thing, and I know firsthand experience. So this is why we chose that group. And just little kids like to look up to high schoolers. So our goal is to raise community awareness and preparedness messages across the board. But like I said, our main group, we want the youth because we feel as if the youth will also teach the adults. They'll tell their parents, hey, look what I learned today. Look what I want to learn and want to become. So that is why we have chosen that. We have already begun to split into small groups. Our first meeting was around June, I believe, and we have averaged about 2 groups per kid. And we have 1 mentor that will aid us through, 1 group coordinator. A group coordinator was chosen by our chairperson, Sarah Miller. We chose that person because we feel as if they can lead their group and do what Sarah and I cannot do. And so our groups, we have a website and video, a survival rival, firefighter, carnival games, safety town, and an obstacle course, and I'll go into detail about all of those. The website and video group has been tasked with engaging with our social media users. I know as a teenager, I'm on my phone all the time. I'd hate to admit it, but my phone's always in my hand. So I guess the best way to get me is through social media. That's where I see a lot of my updates. So we have videos that we have posted, we have a website, and we also are trying to get a YouTube page out there, and I think it's up and hopefully running soon. Our website we have up and running, and the website includes a calendar for all of our events, meet and greet, kind of like you get to know our council members without actually meeting them in person, kind of, and tips from our videos and kind of like tips from our council members. And soon, hopefully, we'll be getting a comment section up. So that's kind of what's going on there. That's kind of what I just said there. So the Survival Rivals, it's a Jeopardy style type of game. I'm sure that a lot of people here know what Jeopardy is. So these questions will be geared towards 5th to 7th graders. I think we're leaning more towards 7th graders. And these questions will be emergency preparedness based. So things such as fire safety, water safety, or power outages and stuff like that. So just to kind of get these kids more out there, and they'll be rewarded too. They will at all times, like whenever, we'll hopefully have like a countywide competition after we go kind of small with schools. If this, maybe we won't be able to get it, but maybe we can push the next group, like the 2016 group, to do it. So this is what the countywide competition hopefully will be at Birchwood Mall, because I know we have someone on our council that has like associations with Birchwood Mall. So it will be based off the original Disaster Master, but we can't use that name obviously for copyright and reasons like that. So we kind of had to change the software a little bit. The Firefighter Boot Camp, I'm really interested to see how this group is going to turn out, because it's going to tell kids what it is like to be a firefighter and what it's like to become a firefighter. It's going to really give kids a taste of reality. I know that you can do a whole bunch of stuff with this. They're still trying to make some finalized decisions on how they're going to approach this. And I know they met with firefighter chiefs to they gave them suggestions and how to keep going with this and what would be best, and a little bit more of a taste of reality for our group so they can get the best out of this for the kids. The obstacle course group is a group that this will be a fun group. They're aiming to have it in Flames Gym, and the whole entire goal of this is to make youth preparedness interesting. It's to make it fun and rewarding for kids. I know that you kind of lose kids' attention when it's not fun or when it's boring, It's like like a kid in a candy shop. They see a bunch of games and obstacle courses and they want to do it. But having fun while learning is kind of the whole point of this one. And this one will also include such things as power outages, water safety, things like that. And they're hoping to maybe have like different themes for every month, but this one also, again, is still a little bit in the process. The carnival game will be, this one, the games are also going to be rewarded. These games are going to teach fire safety and I believe water safety. They will be traveling to schools for carnivals, and maybe during the summer if they can get that still going. And this also is another one that is aimed to create fun for kids. This one is going to be one that kids actually kind of pay attention to because they're rewarded. It's like a kid in a candy shop. Safety Town is one of our biggest projects. This is going to be about a 2-hour safety awareness program for kindergarten through 2nd grade. Now, this group, we will be creating a kind of like a portable mat, and there will be like little kind of house structures, and there'll be battery-powered cars. So what these kids will do is they'll learn things such as how to cross the street safely, when to call 911, and how to call 911. What kind of colors are the stoplights? It's kind of useful sometimes. And these kids will, like I said, and learn how to buckle a seatbelt, things like that. Like the most common things that are overlooked and that aren't emphasized enough with kids. So this is kind of like a picture of what we're hoping it'll look like. Cute. The structure on the right will have the houses kind of like little blocks. They could be like little businesses, if you can like picture that. We will have one aide per block that will help these kids through whatever they're learning, and we'll have multiple instructors. The instructors, we're hoping, will have like emergency management, people like paramedics or cops or anything like that, anybody that has a good general understanding of safety awareness. Now, we'll have aides per block that will help the kids, say their little car gets stuck somewhere, like they'll help them along the way, and we're aiming towards like NHS students, because I know that those kids are really like into hours and they want to help, and that's kind of what the whole NHS is about, and that's what we're about, so it goes hand in hand. This is kind of what I just talked about a little bit, and we're hoping to put these in like school cafeterias, churches maybe, wherever like we can really feel as if that this project will be successful, and to put it really far out there. We have done a lot of stuff over the summer. This is my 5th presentation. Sarah's done a couple of presentations. we've done a presentation for FEMA. They came all the way from, I think, Chicago to come meet us and have a personal interview with us. And they also took us to a Tigers game. We got to go in the security control room, meet all that, and it was really cool. And we got to watch the game, and Mike Trout was there, so that makes it a whole lot better. We presented in front of the fire chiefs, which is also what our firefighter group did, and we just had Lexi did a presentation for Yale schools because she's from Yale schools. And I did the advisory council, and Sarah did board of commissions. So we've been really pushing our council and kind of pushing it out there and hoping that people kind of know what we're about and are interested in what we're trying to get our messages across to. And we've been doing interviews with EBW TV. I know my first interview was extremely awkward, and I like to pretend it didn't happen. But and then we did radio interviews at Radio First, and this whole experience has been really cool, and I'm loving every bit of it. I'm here right now loving every bit of it, and this council has really given me a positive kind of reinforcement and given me a really cool experience. So does anybody have any questions for the council?
Yeah, first of all, great job with your presentation.
Thank you.
Really great job.
Thank you.
And yeah.
Thank you.
So all of these ideas, are these things that the council has done before in the past and you're doing them again, or are they all brand new ideas this year?
We are the first kind of local council actually ever, really. Okay. I know in Texas they did like a really broad one, but we are like the first local, so this is kind of like our ideas and our brand new. We were going to originally have one large group project and then little individual ones, but we figured that working as a team would be better, and we created these topics, and we all kind of voted on the meeting like who would be interested in what, and eliminated here and added here. So yeah, it's all kind of brand new. We're learning with you. So
yeah. Well, great ideas and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very nice. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
In the projects and games that you have, and they're scattered throughout the county,
Mhm.
are any of the school age kids in that age group that you're targeting welcome to come in for the projects?
Mhm.
It's not just people that are on the council for their school.
We will be creating the projects and implementing them, and we will run them kind of like per se how you guys are running the meeting, and then we're allowed to come in and kind of add in and here and there. But we will be in charge of everything, but then kids of all ages are allowed to come and participate in whatever they would like to. I mean, so yeah.
Based on the group in Texas, possibly, even though you said it was a larger group, have any idea how many children you plan on touching with this project?
As many as we can, really. Like, we're kind of basing locally right now just to get like a feel for it, and maybe like as years go on, as we kind of like, we are the first group, so when we push the next group, they'll go bigger, and we're hoping to go bigger and bigger as we go on. Like, this was really small, so not many people really knew what this was, and we're kind of like, I don't know what this is, so I'm not really going to join it, but we're hoping to make it bigger. So,
Anybody else? Ms. May, you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Pine River Elementary School. Joyce Lemmer, Principal, Pioneers in Charge.
Uncle Todd owns it. Right here.
Good evening, Dr. Skalka, Mr. Bewer, and members of the board. Pine River is proud to be here tonight to present one of our very effective programs, and actually it kind of connects to Faith's program and the Youth Readiness Program. I'm Joyce Lemmer, the proud principal of Pine River, and with me I have some awesome pioneers, 5th grader Samantha Harwood and 5th grader Jack Betcher. So we are presenting Pioneers in Charge at Pine River. So there are many leadership opportunities that we have at Pine River. We have the King Pine Bank, Math Mentors, Pioneer Recycling, the post office, our press students, our student council, and tonight we're going to focus on our safety patrol. 95 years. When we did some research, that's how long the safety patrol has been in operation. So in the beginning, in 1920, it was founded by the Chicago Motor Club. and they were called the Safety Police, and it was started in Minnesota. It was started because automobiles were being used and children were still walking, and there was real concern about the safety of children. So in 1930, they developed the standard rules of operation for school boy patrols. And it was the Automobile Association, the National Congress of Parents, and the National Safety Council that wrote out the first rules or the guidebook to follow. In 1972, the policies and practices had the input of the NEA and their International Association of Chiefs of Police, and girls became more routinely a part of the safety patrol. So what about safety at Pine River? Well, in 1998, which was my first year at Pine River, we had our first Pine River squad. We called it the Safety Spotters, and it was actually suggested by a former East China Board of Education member, Mrs. Ann Kirst. She had a kindergartner at that time, and she was very concerned about her kindergartner entering the building. So she said, could we do something? So we started Safety Spotters at that time, and she and I ran the program, and we had multicolored vests. Then in 1999, we discovered that there was an actual school safety program, so we registered and became the Pioneer Safety Patrol, became one of 580,000 students that were registered at that time. It's more up into the 800,000 students that are now registered. And Mr. Mark Benson was our advisor, and they had white belts. In 2015, at this time, we still have the Pioneer Safety Council. Mrs. Michelle Harachian is our advisor, and we have electric green belts with electric green hats that the students wear now. So we follow the Pine River Pioneer Pride Code, which is something all the students know and are able to recite, that pioneers are
kind, courteous, respectful, responsible, and always safe.
And we stress that always safe part. And so we have our safety patrol, which is a very well-organized patrol under Mrs. Harachian with different jobs and positions.
We have indoor safeties, which include hallway safeties, lobby safeties, and door holders. We have gym safeties, who monitor each grade level line. We have kindergarten safeties, which I am a kindergarten safety. I will bring the students in from the buses and take the students to the buses at the end of the day. There's outdoor safeties, which are assigned to a certain bus or assigned to an entrance. Then we have special assignments that are including walk to school day and more.
Expectations and eligibilities. Number one, you need to keep your grades up, which means you can't have any D's or E's. You need to keep your grades up, and I think safety is a good way to encourage kids to do that, because a lot of kids, like I know, want to be a safety, so it forces them to keep their grades up. Number two, all assignments turned in every week. You have to be up to date. You have to have all your assignments in, and you have to be very responsible. And number three is be very responsible. You have to follow directions. You can't be goofing off, because the kids look up to you and they think you're the boss, so they kind of do what you do. So number four, you attend a monthly meeting during lunch. So every month we have a meeting which we kind of discuss the good things that are happening and some things we probably need to improve. And number five is we must follow Pine River rules and must follow the Pioneer Code. You can't be, like I said, goofing off. You need to be following the Pioneer Code, because other kids are doing that too, and if they think that you're not doing it, they probably won't do it either. They think it's okay not to do it, which it is. And seven, must be firm with others. You can't pick and choose who you're going to be firm with. You have to be firm with everyone, or they won't take you seriously. They'll think that you're not really the boss. You can't just say to your friends, oh, I'm not going to tell you to walk because you're my friend. Number 8, you have to be committed. That's like a really important one, because you can't pick and choose when you're going to be at your job. You have to stay committed, because there's only a few safeties at every bus. Not a few, but like 5 or so, and you can't just miss a day because they're expecting you to be there. Like the kindergartners and even through 4th grade are expecting you to be there to keep them safe.
So you can see there's high expectations and eligibility associated with the safety patrol.
In the morning, we have outside safeties who open up the car doors and make sure kids walk safely into the school. We have our adult supervisor, Miss Penninger. She helps open up the car doors, as I said, outside. We have lobby safeties, so when the kids line up in their lines in the gym, the lobby safeties make sure that they're getting to their classroom safely. And finally, we have line safeties in the gym. I'm a line safety myself, and I have to make sure that all the kids in my line that I watch are not fighting or bullying each other or running. They need to stay safe.
So all the students at Pine River come into the building in the morning. So there are 400 students that come in and line up in the gym. So you can see these safeties have a huge responsibility, and we have an awesome, organized, safe, peaceful gym, actually.
In the afternoon, we have inside lobby safeties, which when the kids are coming out, they make sure they stay safe, getting out of the building and getting out of their classrooms. We have hall safeties, which there's probably one safety by each classroom door that makes sure every kid gets out of their class and into the lobby without being pushed or shoved or running. We have bus safeties who make sure the kids get on their bus safely, and if a bus is late, they help them wait patiently and not get like, where's my bus, and kind of crazy. And then we have outside safeties, which make sure kids stay on the lines, and they kind of solve conflicts between kids. And I think safeties are like a big part, because if you didn't have safeties, there could be kids pushing each other, and then that could lead to someone getting hurt.
So you know that 400 students leaving a building at the end of the day, they have a huge responsibility to keep everyone peaceful and in order.
With some of our youngest pioneers, including the kindergartners, we have kindergarten safeties because kindergartners have separate lines in the lobby, not in the gym. So some of the kindergarten safeties will help. In the lines, the kindergarten safeties will make sure that the kindergartners are safe and they're not fighting, because they're just little kids, so they can get a little hyperactive.
So, if you see the picture on the left, those are kindergartners, the kindergarten train. That picture is probably about 12 years old, and that was how our kindergartners were brought in, attached to each other as they came in the building. Why don't you get your hat, Jack? And this is the kindergarten hat that distinguishes our kindergarten safeties from the other safeties.
We also have special events that safeties participate in, and this includes like walk to school day and other activities.
Here are some of our pictures from the walk to school day of what these safeties outside on walk to school day will do.
So you can see that we have parents, we have family, we have students. The walk to school day is a huge event. There's probably 200 parents and families that attend. Our safeties are in charge. Each safety rides a bus. They walk along the side. They keep everyone in order. We have an amazing, amazing walk, and this is just one of the things they do. And they walk at the beginning and they walk at the end to ensure our safety.
Pioneer Safety Patrol responsibilities. Kids need to keep safe, and they need to enforce safety rules and practices. The kindergarten safeties need to assist the kindergartners in dismissal. The safeties need to direct pioneers in loading and unloading the buses and cars. They need to assist students in safe pedestrian practices. They need to help in navigating the parking lot. And they need to problem solve small conflicts within students.
I love this last one. It keeps many little conflicts from entering the principal's office, because actually the safeties outside take charge, and at their monthly meeting, they bring these incidences to the group and then discuss how they're going to solve in the next spot. So that's a huge part of keeping peace at the school.
Benefits to being a safety patroller. You can model the Pioneer Code, you build leadership skills, you learn to work as a team with other team members, you increase confidence and opportunities for decision making, also sense of responsibility, knowing you are helping others, you make new friends with the kids around you, and I think this is the most important one, gain respect. Kids look up to you and they're thinking, well, I'm probably going to be one of them, and they know what they're doing, they know all the rules, so I should probably listen to them and respect them because they're older than me and they're wiser than me.
So this list came from our safety patrollers, and Samantha made sure that gain respect was actually a big part, because she felt that was an important piece of being a safety patrollers. So I present to you the 2015-2016 Pioneer Safety Patrol. There are 56 fifth graders from Mrs. Frederick's class, Mr. Griffin's class, and Mrs. Harachian's class. And probably there are a number of you in this audience who have been safety patrollers and have realized the benefit that comes from being a part of this amazing organization, an amazing group. Former President Jimmy Carter was one of them, who was a safety patroller that felt it affected him throughout his life. So I would like to thank Jack Betcher and Samantha Harwood, the awesome fifth grade pioneers, for presenting our safety information and giving me a lot of the information to put this together. I would like to thank our pioneer safeties. They are every day out in the cold, out in the rain, out in the sleet, in the hot weather, no matter what, they are on the job. They are helping to keep kids safe. And then I would greatly like to thank Mrs. Michelle Harachian, because she has served as our safety patrol advisor for 15 years and keeps this awesome group of kids together and as leaders. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Mr. Kennebar.
I'd like to thank Samantha and Jack for the awesome presentation.
They awesome.
And all of the pioneer safeties that you represented. And you both made excellent points, not just what was written up there, but speaking in your own words, and two of them that really stood out. And I think if more adults thought this way, things would be better. And that was that, I'm saying it a little differently, but Samantha, you said you have to act in the way that you expect others to act. Do as I do is much more powerful than do as I say. And that is just awesome. And you both made the point that that it was high standards to get into the group, and that you knew that younger kids were watching you and modeling your behavior, and that is just awesome.
Thank you so much.
Just one last comment. Mrs. Lemmer, you did a pretty good job, but
Pardon?
Jack and Samantha did an awesome job.
Yeah. They do deserve the credit for this. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. Motion is needed for approval of minutes from our October 26, 2015 board meeting, approval of payment of bills, financial statement, schedule of investments.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Distelrad,
Support.
support by Mrs. Wiebach. Comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So carried. Next item was recognition of persons wishing to address the board. No green cards? Okay. Reports. Eddie Elementary closure update. Dr. Skalka.
No pressure, but you are following Jack and Samantha.
I told Mrs. Lemmer a story this afternoon when we went over this, and I'm going to make it public that I was indeed a safety, and that I was also removed from being a safety for engaging in a snowball fight while on duty. And so that idea of being looked up to, et cetera, I'm very, very impressed by our safeties here and the seriousness with which they take their job, and thank them so very, very much. They did an awesome job. President Beaver, members of the board, in August, the board voted to close Eddy Elementary School. And much of what I present tonight is follow-up to how that motion, how that action is to be implemented or recommended to be implemented. Nearly everything that I share with you tonight actually has been discussed at prior board meetings, because over the course of last school year, we had 2 different groups who met for well over 7 months and really developed all of the background information and data that we share tonight. Right now, Eddy Elementary, as of the October count, has 345 students, broken down 2 sections, K through 4, and 3 sections of 5th grade. That 3 sections of 5th grade, we probably will come back to. It's fairly interesting because there's 1 section of 5th grade at Gearing Elementary, and the reason why we got to 3 sections at Eddy is because of the fact of how lines were drawn, that it started at 1 and then we had to keep overflowing students to the point where we ended up with 3 at Eddy. But if we roll all those students forward to forecast next year, and I do make the assumption that kindergarten enrollment holds, it's the best assumption that we can make, and so that's why we stick with 42 students. 308 students, but more importantly for our purposes tonight, 12 sections or 12 classrooms, because we are moving from 3 buildings, or actually 5 buildings, I should say, to 4, 3 buildings in the St. Clair attendance area to 2, but 12 classrooms. If Eddy were to remain open, and I'm not suggesting that it is, I'm just saying if it were to remain for next year, you'd see the 12 classrooms, 12 at Gearing, 15 at Pine, so 39 total sections. So what we have to do is we have to look at the number of classrooms in Gearing and Pine that are available to us. There are 20 classrooms available in each building. In each building there is a dedicated art space, a space that is that is designed specific for art, would make it a little bit more difficult to use as a general ed or like a 3rd grade or a 2nd grade. Music, same way. Spanish, there is no dedicated Spanish room. It can be, Spanish can go on a cart, if you will, and we could use that room that's currently being used for Spanish for class. Resource at Gearing, there is a smaller room that is ideal for resource, and that resource normally handles, let's say 5, 8, 10 kids at a time, right? Whereas at Pine, right now that's, that's reversed. Gearing houses the early childhood program, and as such it also houses the lower cognitively impaired program. So 6 total classrooms are used right now at Gearing for those 2, and those 2 remain there, and those programs remain there, and so in actuality we have 14 available classrooms at Gearing and 20 at Pine River. So how do you move 39 classrooms of students into 34 classrooms? 32 if we're going to maintain dedicated Spanish classrooms. First, redraw elementary attendance boundaries. Secondly, reconfigure Gearing and Pine River Elementary by grades. And third, move St. Clair 5th graders to St. Clair Middle School. Let's first talk about redrawing elementary attendance boundaries. If we redistrict the students who are both south of Recor and east of King, along with those who are south of Bell and west of King, from Pine to Bell and Palms, that will provide additional opportunities to fit more students, obviously, down where there's room in the 2 Marine City schools, and provides us a little bit more flexibility to move into Gearing and Pine.
Roughly
Yep.
how many students is that projected to move?
77.
Per what I gave, 88. Oh, I'm sorry, 77.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. So this is what the current boundaries look like if you take this section right here, south of Recor, south of Recor, east of King. Then this section, which has been come to be referred sometimes as the pocket, which was drawn when Washington closed. And then this section is Bell River Road, and that is west of King and south of Bell River Road. What we'd be doing is taking this group of students here and moving them to Palms Elementary, this group of students here, moving them to Bell River Elementary. Reconfiguring Gearing and Pine Elementary Schools by grade level. We've talked about this in the past as well. Gearing serves early childhood and lower elementary cognitively impaired, as I've stated. It would also serve St. Clair students grades K and 1. Pine River would serve students in St. Clair grades 2 through 4. There are benefits both instructionally, logistically, and financially. First, instructionally, when more students of the same grade are in the same building, we have different opportunities. First, we would no longer have multi-age or split classrooms. We'd have enough students across as many sections to eliminate split classrooms. Also, the opportunity to implement looping comes back in as we, again, have more sections of the same grade level, so that we could have both maybe as many students who wanted to participate in looping and those families who didn't. We'd have enough sections for both of those. Okay. And an increased number of teachers at the same grade level at the same site, as we've talked before, provides additional formal and informal opportunities for sharing of information about students at that grade level, about instruction, about the curriculum being taught, and assessment. I mentioned that there's logistical benefits as well. By doing grade configurations in this manner, we have consistent boundaries over time. Even when there's an imbalance of available classrooms, which we have right now, and students are not uniformly dispersed across the district. Drawing any particular line from year to year will create those overload situations in which I talked about, where we're moving students across different schools from year to year. The practice of overflowing I just mentioned, and staff and student placement is more certain from year to year. There's also a financial benefit to this in that we've talked about the economies of scale that result. In other words, when you bring more students of the same grade level to the same place, you can spread them over more sections. And specifically, if we use those kindergarten projected enrollments, you would have 42, 52, and 56, 150, 13 of which would be moved based on the redrawing of boundaries to bring you to 137. And then you divide by the max number of students in a kindergarten, you can have 5 sections rather than what would have been 6 had you not done either the redistricting or the grade configuration. Move St. Clair 5th graders to the St. Clair Middle School. Well, when we move the 5th graders, we again see that I talked about the fact that we have 14 available classrooms at Gearing, 20 available at Pine River. In the scenario here, if kindergarten and first grade is at Gearing, you have potentially six sections of each, and we just talked about maybe it is the case of 5 because you've brought them together, but at least you know you have room for 6 of each. Okay? You can maintain your Spanish classroom. That's 13. You have 14 available classrooms. At Pine, 6 sections of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, maintaining Spanish and resource also maintains 20 classrooms, which is within the number that you have available. Something, though, that we should consider is that because I talked about the fact that Gearing currently houses the early childhood program and the lower cognitively impaired program, we have talked about as part of our facilities and tech proposal of consolidating all preschool programs. Those would be the preschool programs here, the preschool program at ECEC, and the preschool programs at Gearing. Here in this space in the middle of the district, either through renovation or addition, primarily, but through the bond. If that's possible, if that is approved, I'm sorry, not possible, if that is approved and all preschool programs are centralized, then we pick up those early childhood rooms over at Gearing. We now have 19 available classrooms, and what we can do is make it a true K2 building, and the other buildings can go 3-5. In other words, for 1 year, it's a K1, then those first graders just stay for second grade. In this building that is 2-4, the fourth graders stay as fifth graders, and we no longer need to use St. Clair Middle for fifth grade because we have the available classroom space in the elementaries. In this scenario, that's what boundaries would look like.
So when you
Yeah,
when
go
you
ahead.
gave the we'll say when the bond proposal passes.
Absolutely.
That was, what year are we looking at then? Is that
If we
it's
pass
17, 18, you've got it right
17,
there.
18.
Yeah.
It's my belief in talking with construction folks that we have, that we are working with, that a May ballot proposal would give us ample time to have construction drawings, renovation drawings done, the work done, so that we would be able to go the next September, 17, 18.
Thank you.
Mhm. In the event that the East China Education Center, ECEC, the sale is completed, the preschool program there, Kids Connection, would either have to be shut down or space would have to be leased for the 16-17 school year. We talked about what the available spaces are, the fact that we want to pass the bond and bring them over. We could potentially look for available space to lease, but if the ballot passes, it will be relaunched or moved into this state-of-the-art facility here when renovation is completed.
How many classrooms do we need for that?
9.
9?
I think we're looking between 9 to 10 so that we had one additional one for growth.
Okay.
It is the intention of the administration to have meaningful discussion with the teachers group regarding teacher placement, because we're not only talking about when you close an elementary or any school building, you're not just relocating students, you're relocating teachers as well. Okay? And in a new era, when you closed Washington, you had master agreement language that dictated placement. That's no longer the case. But we want to have meaningful conversation with them to determine placement, and within the reconfiguration as well as the closure. It is important to point out here that the closure of Eddy, there is no reason to believe that any teaching staff member will lose a position. Right? For the most part, classroom to classroom moves. All right. If there is a reduction in teaching staff as a result of lower student enrollment, there is actually mid-year retirements this year and anticipated end-of-year retirements. So there is no reason to believe that any teaching staff member would lose a job as a result of the closure of Eddy. Moving and disposition of furniture and equipment is another huge task. We're not just moving students, we're not just moving staff, we're moving all of the equipment and materials in those buildings. We would do so in a manner in which is a 4-step process. Teacher identified equipment and materials to be moved to a new classroom. We would provide teachers all the support. They would not be moving any of their materials. We will get them. We will do all the help and work with them to provide them time and equipment to pack and then move their materials to their new space. The remaining equipment and materials will be made available to other teachers throughout the district in case there's something there that they can be made use of. Then, of course, we would look to have some public sales, and finally, disposal. With respect to C and D and the fact that Eddie would not be being used for any programming, but could be used for storage, we want to make sure that we do A and B well and get it done in a timely manner so that folks are ready to go in August. C and D can take place over the course of the 16-17 school year. And finally, we've had some preliminary conversations with Eddie Principal Rick Carlson, and then we want to have him and the PTO and others have some conversation about having Eddie Week. And Eddie Week would be a planned celebration of the school's past and present. Graduation is Sunday, June 5th. The 6th through the 10th is the last full week of school, and we would look to facilitate any and all plans that Eddie's student council, Eddie's staff, and Eddie's PTO would like to do during that week to celebrate the school and open houses for any and all people who ever went to Eddie, and anything we can do to, again, celebrate the school. I point out that Board Policy 5120 is assignment within district. And without reading the entire policy, it says that the board shall determine, but the superintendent shall recommend. And so none of the recommendations that I've made tonight with regard to redistricting and or configurations, et cetera, can occur without board action. And we'll be placing them on the December board meeting agenda so that we have ample time to continue to put this in place, because we have to reach out to every affected student, we have to reach out to their families, we have to reach out to every affected teacher, and we have to keep planning for all of the property movement, equipment movement, and distribution.
That should be December 14th.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
December 14th instead of the 13th.
13th is Sunday.
Oh, great. Thank you. December 14th then. We've talked about it. Students, staff, and stuff. In closing a building, we have to be cognizant of those three things: our students, our staff, and then last but not least, but putting people ahead of things, we have to make sure that we're moving all of the equipment, moving all the teaching materials, all the supplies, et cetera. So on our district website, and we hope to have this operational by the end of the school day tomorrow. We are going to have, as is normally the case, these presentation slides, whether it be the facility planning or last year's school closure groups. We always put the slides and the board video up there for people to see who couldn't make it here tonight. But we also want to have two links. One is a submit a question link, in which, as it says here, the steps, not everything that I share tonight is all the details. We don't have all the details yet. We're still getting big picture. We need to get lines drawn. We need to get staff moved, and then we have all the details that come after that. But if folks have a question regarding the issue of closing a building and what happens next, if they have questions or suggestions about what was presented, we ask that they're going to use this link. Question's important because I'm sure that we have not thought of everything, and we're also sure that many others in the community have similar questions. All right. We will use those to create a frequently asked questions document, which will be the second link on that page, so that anyone at any time can see an updated FAQ as to what those questions have come in and how far we are along in the process. Questions and discussion?
Questions or? Mr. Kinnigbauer brought up with the holidays, between now and the 14th of our meeting, do we have time to have a special board meeting to go into more detailed discussion? We've got all this now to digest, and we've had it for a week or so.
Right.
That would the board be interested in having that? And if so, when would we look at it, a calendar to do so?
I think it's a good idea.
I would be interested.
Okay.
So let's look at look at the school calendar and what we can look to try to put together between now and December 14th.
How many Mondays are there? Is there just two between?
7, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And maybe the 7th is a good target.
Yeah, does it have to be a Monday?
No.
Nope. I mean, we can have a special board meeting anytime you want.
Are you going to be meeting with the administrators before we vote on this? Because maybe they might have some input into maybe some different ideas. I don't know.
Okay. We've had some meetings. We can have additional ones. We've got our regular meetings, elementary and secondary ones planned, so sure.
When are those meetings?
Those are Tuesdays at 3 o'clock.
And those are held here?
Yeah,
And the board members can attend those meetings?
as long as there's not more than 3.
I would just like to, if administrators might have, I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my voice, maybe some ideas from administrators that we as board members may not come up with. And they're our expertise, so if they would be willing to share.
I'm sure they would. I do want to say again that I think everything we shared tonight is an outgrowth of the work that was done by the School Closure Committee and the Redistricting Committee, of which, they were part of, but we will continue to have ongoing meeting.
Looking at that 2-week period, any particular time frame? I mean, the 30th, we're just coming back, people are coming back,
Which is
from
next
holiday,
week.
so I would say the 30th probably wouldn't work, but
I'm pretty much available,
I am, sir.
I'm
so,
pretty much available too.
I mean, if we want to do it on the 7th, I'm good with that, or if we want to pick a different day of the week, I'm good with that
Or
too.
what about late 30th? I think maybe is too soon.
I
but
think that's too
but-
soon with Thanksgiving.
30th I think is maybe too soon, but later that week before Monday.
Right, so that gives us, that goes into
Wednesday,
December,
Thursday.
1st,
First through the
2nd, 3rd,
fourth.
4th of December.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
you want to shoot for that Thursday?
Let's shoot for that
Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday the 3rd.
Thursday the 3rd?
Can we do it before 7? Can we do it earlier in the day? 6 p.m. maybe?
6 works.
6?
Sure, that's fine. I mean, special meeting, we can call for a different time.
And we could do it in the conference room.
If you do it we can do it in the conference room. It is an open meeting and it is a public meeting. I don't know. We've had good a turnout here tonight, and
It's easier for us to talk to each other in the conference room because we're not doing this number, so if that's agreeable with everyone.
It's fine.
And 6 p.m.? Okay.
And then we would have all of the
What is
people that have
all the
submitted
science
um,
stuff going on?
to the website. We would have all of that information
by
at that
time.
meeting.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything else?
Will you have had some conversations too with, you mentioned in your presentation, getting with the teachers regarding what the movement will look like? Will you have had some of those meetings prior to this, or?
More than likely, I had not planned on it. I figured that was a conversation for after the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah, we're truly only giving them for 3 days,
Yeah.
coming back from the holidays, so. But you will have met with those administrators then.
We'll call a special meeting.
Okay. Great.
Good.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay.
Information discussion items, we just had the Eddy Elementary closure information, which we just went through. Setting another meeting for December 3rd. So everybody kind of do their homework, and we'll be ready for that meeting at 6 o'clock. Next item on the agenda is action items. We have no action items tonight. Item 10, items for next regular board meeting is just a budget revision. And with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you for coming. Everybody have a blessed holiday. Safe travels.